Hey everybody, it's Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa here on YouTube. Hoping you have a wonderful day today and join me for a little bit of crafting fun. Today we're going to do a wine sign as well as a couple of dough bowls. So we're going to try to do that with some crackle medium, some stain, and some paint and a stencil, of course. So let me get my other camera up, and I'll put my face smaller so that you can see what I'm doing today. So I have this 12 by 12, I do believe. Let me measure for sure. Yep, 12 by 12 wood panel. It's pretty thin on the top part, but it's a good inch, almost an inch thick. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Valspar glaze. This is what I get from my Lowe's, and I have a glove on because I don't want to get my hand so filthy. I'm going to use a baby wipe and the glaze because I want this a very light stain. I want the wood to shine through a little bit. And I'm going to use some water because this is a water-based product, but my wood is very dry. It's in my garage, and so it doesn't like to be wet. It's not wet because it's very dry in our area. I'm not in the south. I am in the southwest, where we have very dry humidity. We do not have any. We have 20s and 30s in humidity, not the 80s and 90s that a lot of southern people have. So anyway, I just want to get a really nice color on here. I could go really dark, but I didn't want my sign to be too dark. I am going to use a little crackle, or I'm going to show you some crackle medium. I am going to use it on this, and I need to do this quickly because it needs to dry. I can speed it up with my heat tool, heat gun, and get it going faster, but I wanted to make sure that we've got it. So I'm going to put this up here so you can see that I'm doing the edges as well. I want to do the edges, and I could do inside because I always get those this lip here, and then we don't have to worry about anything else. Of course, I got it all the way in there, but you know, that's me. I sometimes make more work for myself than I should. I'm not as careful as I should be, I guess. Okay, so I love this Valspar color. I don't like it for everything though. It's more of a black glaze than a brown, and I like brown wood glaze instead of the black. So I use this a little bit. You can use this to antique all kinds of your projects by just putting it on afterwards and wiping it off. It is water soluble, so if you get too much, you can always get a bottle of water and a cloth and wipe it off, wipe it back. So I want to make sure all the edges are correct on there, and I like that. That's a pretty, I think I want to add a little bit more color to parts of it, so I'm going to try to do it evenly here. And this is just with this baby wipe. Now, if you, sometimes you don't want to use a baby wipe because it has lotions and things in it. But when I stain, I like to use a baby wipe because the lotion helps it as well. I mean, it's just like being a wax, right? Okay. I like that a lot better. Boy, it's not very even right there. I'm using my camera to help me figure out where I've missed. I missed right there. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cover it up with some paint. But I wanted the darkness to come out. And we're only going to use a very light paint job. Now I am going to use Amy Howard's Cracked Patina. That's what that is. That's Cracked Patina. And I love it. I just started using it just the other day. I bought it from Amazon. I don't know if there's an affiliate of it around, but I just bought it from Amazon. And I'm just going to put it in a little cup because I'm not going to use a whole bunch. I want a little bit of crackle, but not a lot. I want it to look old and weathered. And I'm just going to use my decoupage brush and just put it in a few places. I'm not using it to do it all. I'm just going to do sides of it around the edges because that's usually where things crackle. And I'm putting a stencil on here, so I don't really want the crackle to be in the middle so much. And I will do the sides. And you see I haven't used a lot. I'm just using a little bit. And it beads up. That's one thing I like about it. It beads right up. Now I should have probably dried that, but I thought that was pretty well dried, but maybe not. But it looks okay. And I'm going to put some around the edges, since the edges are the ones that I want to have crackle. I'm not going to crackle the middle. I just want the edges to be. I should maybe do one a little bit, maybe not. I'm just going to do the edges, like I said. You know, crafters are funny. We change our minds in mid project, right? We change our minds, but that's what artists do as well. So crafters and artists use that creativity to help us all. Okay, got it all over. Okay, and that's almost dry now. Okay, I'm going to put that in my water. And it's very sticky stuff, so beware of that. You need to make sure you have a good wipe, or use your hands with your gloves on it or something, because it is kind of sticky. Now, this is going to be the issue here. I think I'm going to use I'm going to use a chip brush. I don't use chip brushes very often because I don't like how all of the fibers come off of it when I'm working with it. So I'm going to try to do it very lightly, and I'm going to take you see that? I'm just taking all of the loose things out before I even start, because they're going to come out. They're going to come out. Okay. And I'm just going to use a very light brush in the middle, because I just want it light in the middle, like that. And then I'm going to use a heavier brush. See, there goes one. Along the sides where I put that crackle medium. I'm put a heavier brush on that. Just along the sides. where the crackle medium is, sides and top and bottom. I'm just going to paint booger there. Just going to try to get it so that it's heavier up here, but then it, you know, goes down and is goes down into the lighter stuff. Of course, it's coming. All those fibrous things are coming off. I want to try to get them off before I dry it. And you can, it dries, it's supposed to dry for an hour. You can dry it with your heat tool, your heat gun, so to speed it up a little bit, so to speak. Okay, I like that. All right, let's do the sides. And so I'll start it off with the heat tool, and getting so many of those fibers that I don't want. And I will get it started, and then we'll set it aside while we work on something else for it to dry. I already have 2 examples of this, what it looks like, so I will work on one of those as well. Hey, you two. My friends, the Painted Peach, who is going to be on a little bit later. In the description, it tells you when they're going to be on. And Jeannie's Palette are both here today. We're from the group Take 5, and this is our Friday takeover, YouTube takeover, and I think we're going to start doing Fridays on YouTube all the time. So it's kind of a thing we're starting to do. Trying to grow our businesses. So I think I want a little bit more right there. These areas around the crafts. Okay. All right. Do I have all those? Nope. I have a bunch of, and it's going to take off my crackle. I don't want to do that. Okay. Let me blow dry it, and let's see if I can get it's crackling the way I like it. It's not doing as much because I didn't put as much paint on it. It does have to do with a lot with whether or not you put, how much paint you put on there. And I have a stupid, I should not have used that brush. So, because I am not happy, and that brush has messed my project up, it's going in the garbage, and I'm going to use a little more of that patina and try it over top of the white and see if we can get a little more crackle. with a little more white on top, and I'll put it with a regular brush because these brush things are still there. You can see them in the, I'll get them all out before I start that over again. And hopefully I can get that brown to come, or that gray, black to come through. Do a little bit. Wow. And we have things falling. It's something that's not supposed to be where it was. So that's all right. I just don't want those things to be around there. So I'm just going to go up a little bit into the middle, a little farther over. Okay, let's do that. Now let's put some more white on here, and we'll do it with a regular brush. And then I think it'll do better. I mean, it was doing some. So I guess my takeaway from here today is do not use a chip brush to do crackle medium or crackle. Dry brushing is fine, but not around the edges. If you're doing the edges a different way, which I am. So there's my takeaway from that today. Hopefully you have learned the same thing. And I use quite a bit of paint on my brush so that it'll make that crackle part. Okay. All right, now we're going to dry that one more time. Let's see if we can get some darkness coming out. It's doing better. Let me put it up here so you can see. See that area that it's doing better on? So I have this board that I did the other day. And this is what it looks like when it's crackled. And it looks just phenomenal. I just love it. I love how it looks. The crackle is awesome. So I want to make sure this dries before I do anything else to it. I crackled the sides as well. Got a few brush hairs on there too. So get those off. Not necessarily important, too important. The sides are all dry, so I just have to get this dry that I just did on. I'm going to get that as dry as possible. And I think it's good. Everything's dry. Even though it looks shiny, it's dry right now. It's dry. All right. We're going to go ahead and put our stencil on there that I chose. I chose this. Wine Pairs Best with Good Friends. And this is from the Stencil Smith. I tried to find a few golf and wine things. I'm just going to set it there. Now it has wine, it has grapes over here with leaves, and then these other leaves. So I'm going, and then wine bottles up here. I'm going to do those in the colors. So I have my small stencil brushes from Essential Stencil. And I have just a little bit of, this is called Purple Pansy. And I'm also going to use this lilac. So I'm going to use my, see this small stencil brush. Okay. It's flat, it's tight. And you're going to do, get the paint on there and offload it onto your side. And I'm just going to dab it on those grapes that I have here. On this side, as well as on this side. And I'm going to use the same brush to do a lighter on parts of it. I don't need that much paint. It's just wanted to do a lighter, like a highlight on part of it. And I think I'm going to go back into the dark and do the other side just a little bit darker. We can see that we have light and dark. Okay. And then we're going to use some green. I'm going to clean that one. I'm using a different one, just the same type of brush, and do the leaves. And I'm going to do like the green leaf, little thing sticking out. And do that green. I'm going to do the same on this side. Oh, and I need to do the stem. And the stem needs to be green. And where it was purple is probably going to be brown, but that's okay. Those stems sometimes is brown too. So I'm just dabbing. I've had a little bit of problem if I just swirl with this little ones, so I'm dabbing with the little ones. It's good because they can just get into the small area. Okay, and then up. Up to this one up here. I think what I'm going to do is put some of this dark purple just in this spot in the middle of the wine glasses, just where the wine would sit in your glass. And then I'm going to do black around it, so it will darken it quite a bit. Okay. All right, so let's do some black. I'm going to use ink from Waverly Chalk Paint, the color ink. And a larger brush. This is a 1/2-inch brush. I'm going to dip in, load on, offload over here on this side, and I'm going to swirl this because this is what I do, is swirl. It seems to do very well. So this is a wood canvas, so I don't have to worry about my pushing my pushing in my stencil brush so hard because it's wood. If you were using a regular canvas, you have to put something underneath it because it'll just stretch your canvas instead. And you won't. I've always had bleed through because of that. The canvas moves on you. So, on me, anyway. Maybe not you. Some of this is going on that extra patina that I had around the edge, and I think it's going to crackle this paint, which is awesome. I want it to crackle where I had it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I want to make sure, go around and get all of this parts that I want to be dark black. There's a couple of places that are kind of light. So it's better just to go over again and just check it out. Like this E right there, I totally almost missed the whole E. Line up to the S, bottom of the S, and this little part right here. It's in the crackled stuff. All right, let's see what that's like. I hope it comes up really easily. Okay. So there we have wine pairs best with friends, and I like it that it's kind of really gone in the middle and a little more crackled on the sides. You see some of that crackle. If you took a sandpaper, it needs to dry some more, but if you took a piece of sandpaper, you would get some pieces up like real crackled outdoor wood. So that looks very good. I like that. Some people in my neighborhood will love to have that on their wall, just because. So let's use this piece that I did the other day. Okay, and I have another one that I want to do. This says wine a little, laugh a lot, and it has a wine glass on it, but I'm not going to put the whole wine glass on there. It doesn't quite fit, and I don't really want to put that and then put the wine. I guess I could put the letters on top of it a little bit. Let's do that. Let's go live dangerously here. Okay, so I think I am going to do the purple in the wine glass in the inside first. And this is a huge area, so I'm using this small stencil brush again. But I'm trying to just do it around the edges, and then I can just paint on the inside. And I think that will look good. So there's our wine glass. And I know wine isn't really purple, but I mean, I could put a reddish brown or brown on it to make it look a little like wine. And trying to be careful because I don't want that. I need to get out my little stopper for that issue right there. So I have some flashing that I use so that I don't. My stencil moved. So I don't get it on the letters next to this. And I could use it for the ends, if I could keep it straight. Keep it sitting there right. I would put some tape down, but I'm afraid it'll bring up that crackle part. So I'm going to fix that a little bit. Okay, there's my wine bottle, or wine glass. And it did bleed a little bit around, so I'm just going to take my brush and just kind of make it so it doesn't look as obvious. There we go. And I'm going to just put this right there on top of it. Maybe not there. How about there? That looks good. Okay, I'm going to use black again. There we have that cute wine a little, laugh a lot with this beautiful crackle medium. That looks great. I like that. Now the other one fell down here, and let me get it up. And I am going to use this little oval that I got at Dollar Tree, and I crackled it. And I want to kind of see how the sanding influences the crackle a little bit, because it is very rough in certain places. And so if I put this on there a little bit and see I can get some things down. And I'm wondering about if it'll muddy up this crackle right there, but I don't think so. I think it feels really good. Okay. It just is texturally, it's just a little different. I want to put my daisies on here, and I want to have it kind of go around, and I won't get as much as I wanted on there. So let's see. Let's get the scissors out. Just going to bend that so I know that that's where I want to cut, close to that. I'm not cutting right there because I want that to go over a little bit. So I'm not going to be able to use that part, but I can use all the rest. Okay, with a transfer, it's a one-time thing, guys. And you don't want to touch the paint part, and once you put it down, it is down. Okay. Use a little burnishing tool so that you can push it into your surface. And if you go off the edge, you want to make sure that you do the edge so that it comes off. You might not be able to see those little daisies there. I think it's all right. And you want to just burnish it all. And I always go around the whole thing before I start doing the little stuff. And these edges are the little stuff. I'm going to push it down in there as far as I can. So that I could get that stuff to stick to the edge so that when we pull it up, that you see the edges on there. Okay, and that looks like it's going to pull up pretty nicely. A few places that I didn't rub hard enough, but the crackle also has an issue, plays a part in that not sticking, in that it's not smooth, it's rough. And so you have to be very diligent in pushing all that color down into your surface. And if it comes up on the thing, then you just put it back down and push it down again more. And you'll get it. There's some stuff right here, but that's the edge that didn't stick on, and I'm not just going to worry about that too much. But I want to have all these little stems on here. And there's a little leaf coming off of there. Let's see, this one comes off here, and it's just a little stitch of it, and I could let it just, you know, come off with the paper, but I want to see it continually go across my project. So it's very delicate look, and it looks old because of the crackle, which is awesome. I love crackle. So I was going to do a fall stencil on this. Stencil on a fall something fall. It's pretty delicate, pretty small and delicate. And so I think that I want to use a scripture word. So let me get out my I'm gonna have to stand up. Sorry about that. And see what I can find that will work. These are a little bit too big. Could use the word grace. Doesn't, it's kind of big there. And that's not as big as grace, but let's see. Really doesn't fit. This stuff is a little bit big. So let's do could do this. This group has the word grace, amazing grace, and I don't have to do those lines, those leaf things, because I have a leaf on here, so I can use my tape, and I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it right there. And do amazing grace. So first thing I'm going to do is cover up the sides where the color might come off onto, when I'm swirling, sometimes I swirl big, so I want to make sure that I don't have a space where some other little piece of black is going to sit out there. Oops, that didn't even do what I wanted it to do. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put amazing grace, and I'm going to be just below that to the side. And I think I'm going to use my sensitive tape to keep it down, because I think I learned something on that last one. It doesn't want to stay on the crackle. All right, let's take that same black that we've been using, that ink from chalk paint, and we'll just do a light coat. Make sure you go both ways, back and forth around, for the words amazing grace. Now, one of the things, and I didn't do it on these others, and I will, but I use a old Sharpie pen to fill my bridges. Now, it doesn't work anymore, and so I use it with paint. I just stick my little thing in with the paint, and I'm able to do a small area. And keep it in the letters that I want it to be looking like. So, because bridges, you know, the bridges show you that it wasn't all one piece. The stencils have to have bridges or they'll fall apart. You know, you won't have a stencil. So they have to have the bridges. And so this is called filling in the bridges. I used to sing the song, filling in the bridges, filling in the bridges. But anyway, all right. So I'm just using this. It's better than a paintbrush in that it's I can do the tiny stuff, because I have a bunch of tiny stuff on the amazing word. So if you look at there, you have the A, and the line for the M, two lines in the M, and the A again, and that's it. Okay, the A, M, A. And then that's good and filled in. And so there's a cute little thing. I'll paint the back, and I'll put a little uh, sawtooth hanger on it. So you could hang it on the wall, or you could just put it on a shelf as a shelf sitter. That turned out great. I love it. I think, though, I want that R to kind of match, go with that G. I'll just do that. And I think that looks a little bit better. All right, so if I get back onto this one, I can still use this small one and just be a little bit more aggressive and fill in these bridges. And so a lot of people have trouble filling them in because it is a paintbrush, and you don't have a lot of control. You have control with this pen because it's so it's just a little bit of paint, and it's a tiny point. You know, it's one of the thin pens, the little tight ones. And it makes it look a little more professional, I think, in that it looks completed. Okay, I think I got all of those. Don't necessarily want the bottom to be all the way around. Leave that open. And that, oops, so that looks good. Okay, filled it in. Made sure it looks really good. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our other one that we did, and it has quite a few on it too. So we just want to fill in. I've got just a little bit more on here than I want, so I'm going to use a cloth and just wipe it off and start over, because the paint dries sometimes on the edge of the pen. And just dry it off, wipe it off, so it makes it look like it just did not have one. Did not have a bridge.